Hello, YouTube. This is Luis back for CS4540. Uh, Before I get started on this week's video, I want to talk a bit about the videos I will be discussing um, for the resources. Um, well, as you can tell, this week's topic is going to be reasoning models. And I guess more specifically, we're talking about how we set up an AI model to think through a problem before providing a response. However, when reviewing the videos for this week, I noticed that there isn't much that's new, uh, meaning there aren't as elaborate explanations for this process uh, as was the case before. So, excuse me if today's video is shorter than what's typical. I can try to tie this into previous weeks uh, where we discussed the training process. However, when discussing the reasoning models, there may not be much that's new. Uh, yeah, but I guess with that being said, we can get started. The video that we'll be looking at this week, and I guess the only video really, comes from the TED Ed channel with speaker, I want to say Noma Brown. Uh, and the video is titled AI Won't Plateau If We Give It Time to Think. Um, and he touches on this notion within the field that at some point AI will cease to evolve. Not so much because it can't, but because it will, well, one, become too costly, and two, see minimal improvements. And that's just like because of some costs, uh, some cost chart that he showed. Um, However, he dismisses this entirely by introducing the idea that this is only the case because you know we're using something that he refers to as system one thinking, and that by switching to a system two thinking uh, method, we will it will allow for not only improvements in cost, but also provide more precise responses to prompts. Um, well, I guess we should, before we get into what he says, we should talk about what uh, what system one and system two thinking is. Um, System one refers to the AI response process that prioritizes speed, something that when given a query, it'll provide a pretty immediate response. Accurate enough that it gets the job done. And this works for many instances. I won't say that it won't work, doesn't work at all. Uh, However, because its sole focus is speed, it it leaves very little to improve upon. Thus, explaining why the initial theory that its advancement would at some point stop. How it started, how that came to be, how that theory came to be. Um, but then he talks about system two thinking, which is the system that allows the AI model to think for a greater length of time before formulating a response. Um, and this is a model he believes would change the way we think of AI in an evolution over time mindset. Uh, that because we're allowing the AI, um, or the system to think through its responses first before providing them, it gives them more precise answers, critical for problems that require thinking ahead, uh, instead of what's best at the current moment. So I think in the video, he describes different instances where a system 2 model would be preferred over a system 1. So a system 1 would be something quick, like, you know, just the facts, like something about the weather or something, like a quick math problem. But a system 2 thinking model is beneficial for instances where you're thinking like, you're writing an essay, or you're coming up with the next best move in in a game you're playing, right? And really, that's the entire notion for this week. That um, using a system 1 thinking that only considers the speed of response time can only go so far in innovations in AI models. And so there must be a shift to a system 2 thinking that allows these models to evaluate from the data it possesses and the situation in which the answer must be given in, so that we don't encounter what Speaker Brown described as a plateau or an end. Um, so we can further evolve this AI system. Um, and I honestly, I think that's it for me. Again, I'm sorry this video might be shorter than usual, but I hope that by talking through what System 1 and System 2 thinking is, paints a clearer picture for how we address innovations in AI moving forward. Um, as we're talking about this for the weeks to come. Um, and yeah, thank you for your time, and I'll see you all next week.